Assalamu alaikum. My name is Professor Dr. Ashish Zia. I hope you are seeing regularly our lectures in the pediatrics. We're trying to send you as many lectures as possible so that during this crisis we can overcome the deficiencies of your education. I hope we can soon see each other once we have control over this epidemic. Today we're going to discuss mumps. It is a common viral infection. We see quite few cases of mumps throughout the years, but first every second year we'll see an epidemic because we're not giving MMR vaccination as a routine. We just get only measles vaccination. Mumps is an acute viral infection of the paramyxovirus family, as its alternative name is infectious parotitis because it involves the parotid gland, suggests the infection is characterized by swelling more commonly bilateral than unilateral of the parotid salivary gland. Sometimes we get infection in one parotid gland, and after a few days then we have a swelling of the other parotid gland. The incubation period of mumps is 14 to 21 days, and it is communicable from the 6 days before to 9 days after the facial swelling is apparent. So the total infectious period is 6 plus 9 is 15 days, and mostly it causes infection to the other people in the first 6 days when the swelling is not apparent and when the child is not diagnosed as having mumps, but it can be infectious after the swelling. So you have to isolate the child from the other children. It can lead to brain inflammation, deafness, or sterility. These are the complications of the mumps. Sorry, I'm trying to get the next slide. These are the areas where mumps is more common. The countries with with a yellow marcation, and they get most of the cases of the mumps where vaccination is not apparent. Is very common. This is the virus of the mumps. This is the shape. We're not going to go into detail, but it is a paramyxovirus family, and this is the picture of the virus, and this picture is the detail. It is basically an RNA virus. As I mentioned, mumps is a Paramyxoviridae family looks similar to the orthomyxovirus, larger in size, more pleomorphic, spherical in shape, 100 to 300 nanometer in size, sometimes appear as filamentous. Giant forms are present, but contains only single stranded RNA, do not contain segmented RNA like orthomyxovirus, antigenic variation absent. So it is easy to make an, a vaccine against this virus. Reassortments like influenza viruses are absent. Mumps or epidemic parotitis is a viral disease of the human species caused by the mumps virus. Prior to the development of the vaccination and the introduction of a vaccine, it was a common childhood disease worldwide, and it's still a significant threat to health in the developing world, like in Pakistan. As I mentioned, we see a lot of cases of mumps throughout the year. As I mentioned, it involves the parotid gland, and the most commonly there is a painful swelling of the salivary gland. Classically, the parotid gland is the most typical presentation. A painful testicular swelling, which is called orchitis, and a rash may also occur. Orchitis is more common in the older children, at adolescents and the young adults, and it is one of the lethal complication of uh, mumps. This is the photograph of the parotid gland. It causes painful swelling, and then you can sometimes notice the elevation of the lobule of the ear of that side. If it is bilateral, then you will see bilaterally elevation of the lobule of the pinna. Swelling of the salivary gland follows these symptoms. Swelling of the glands near the jaw line below the ears may give a jumping cheeks. As I mentioned, it is an acute viral illness, and parotitis and orchitis described by the Hippocrates in the 5th century BC. Viral etiology described by Johnson and Goodpastures in 1934, and there are frequent causes of outbreaks among military personnel in the pre-vaccination area because of the close contact with each other. Mumps comes from the old word lump or an old word mumple. It gives a swelling uh, around the neck. We have already discussed the shape of the virus is a one antigenic type. That means it is very easily to make an antibody against or a vaccine against this virus, and it is rapidly inactivated by chemical agents, heat, and ultraviolet light. The transmission is to the respiratory system, respiratory transmission of the virus, and the replication is in the nasopharynx and the regional lymph nodes. Viremia occurs in after 12 to 25 days after exposure with the spread to the tissues, and multiply tissues infected during viremia. This is the virus enter through the nasal cavity or the oral cavity and multiply in the nasopharynx and the regional lymph nodes, and then it is absorbed in the larynx, and it causes viremia once it enter into to the blood. The incubation period, as I mentioned, is between 14 to 18 days, and initially there are non-specific prodromal symptoms like myalgia, malaise, headache, low-grade fever. Parotitis occurs only in 30 to 40 percent cases. not in every case. Sometimes you get a subclinical infection and you are immune to mumps. Up to 20% of the infections are asymptomatic when the child has mild infection and remain undiagnosed. Acute onset of a unilateral or bilateral tender self-limited swelling of the parotid or other salivary gland lasting more than 2 days without other apparent cause. You can see the submandibular gland in this child, and it is obvious from the front and from the side view. So you can get, in addition, or uh, in addition to the parotid, submandibular gland sometimes shows the swelling. The antibodies are produced against the S and the V surface antigens. Mumps rare before 6 months of age because you get immunity from the mother, and because it crosses the placenta, and the child get antibodies from the mother, so they remain in the baby for first 6 months of age. So it is very rare to get mumps in the first 6 months of age. After that, you can get the infection. Definition of mumps immunity: when you really get a documentation of adequate vaccination, if there is an evidence of that the child was had a vaccination against mumps in the form of MMR vaccination, or if there is a serological evidence of mumps immunity when you check the blood and there are antibodies against mumps, then you are confirmed that the child had either vaccination or the infection. Or if there is a birth before 1957 because there was no vaccination before that, or documentation of a physician diagnosed mumps in the past, or if there is a clinical history of swelling of the both glands and some physician has diagnosed as a case of mumps, then you will get a lifelong immunity. You will never get a second attack of mumps because the immunity is lifelong. The complications with the mumps, the most important complications are epididymoarthritis. As I mentioned, you get in the older children and also in the young adults, and it may lead to atrophy, sterility, and low sperm counts. One of the commonest cause of sterility in the man is due to mumps. CNS involvement occurs in the 60% of cases and may manifest with the aseptic meningitis. It can also cause deafness, and one of the common causes of acquired deafness is due to post-mumps. It can also cause arthritis, oophorytis in females, nephritis, and myocarditis. Orchitis is usually very painful. It can cause swelling of the one or both testicles and is usually painful. It can also involve the pancreas and causes a pancreatitis when there is a severe pain in the upper part of the abdomen. It can involve the brain and the meninges and cause encephalitis or viral meningitis. A viral infection such as mumps can lead to inflammation of the brain, which is called encephalitis. Although it is a serious encephalitis, is a rare complication of mumps. Meningitis, as I mentioned, is also a complication due to mumps. Meningitis is an infection and inflammation of the membranes and the fluids surrounding your brain and spinal cord. Inflammation of the ovaries can occur. It is pain in the lower abdomen in women and may be a symptom of this problem. Fertility doesn't seem to be affected, unlike in male, where sterility is very common when there is a epididymoarchitis. As I mentioned, hearing loss is one of the common complication in children, and you can also have miscarriages if you develop mumps during pregnancy. So it is always better to have MMR vaccination before marriage because it will protect you from measles, mumps, and rubella. Laboratory diagnosis, as I mentioned, that clinical diagnosis is the most important. Sometimes no lab confirmation is needed because you see a lot of cases of mumps every day. But sometimes when the epidemic starts, then you need to confirm the diagnosis, and sometimes there is a atypical infection needs lab diagnosis. The virus of the mumps can be isolated from the saliva of the child, from the urine, from the CSF, and it can be cultured in the human amniotic HeLa cells. Immunofluorescence methods can also isolate the virus, and you can have isolation in the chick embryos by the ELISA methods, and there is also a complement fixation test to diagnose mumps infection. CDC recommended that a blood specimen or a buccal or a oral swab may be collected from all the patients with the clinical features compatible with the mumps. This is a recommendation in America. Recommendation stands mainly for the epidemiological survey. As I mentioned, the diagnosis is usually apparent clinically, and sometimes you check the serology to check the IgG antibodies against mumps to make sure that the child has infection in the past or due to vaccination he or she has attained the immunity against mumps. The best treatment is the prevention, and as I mentioned that the vaccine comes in the name as MMR vaccine, which is mean that measles, mumps, rubella. It is a triple vaccine which protects against mumps, measles, and the rubella, and a single dose is given in Pakistan because these slides are from abroad. In Pakistan, we give first dose at 9 months and then a booster dose at 15 months of age. But if somebody has no vaccination at birth, he or she can have MMR vaccination at any time of age. Sometimes I give MMR vaccination to our students when they go abroad for higher study, because if you get measles or mumps or rubella during your study, they will struck you out from the university. So it is very important that one make sure that he or she has immunity against measles, mumps, rubella, either by testing their virology or otherwise they can have one single injection of MMR before going abroad. As I mentioned, in Pakistan, we usually give vaccination at the age of 9 months and then a second booster dose at the age of 15 months for a routine vaccination. You can have a passive immunization against mumps infection, and this is usually immunoglobulin, but they are not they are not effective for post-exposure prophylaxis and does not prevent disease or reduce the complication as it happened in chicken pox or measles. So giving immunoglobulin to any contact or to pregnant women is ineffective. Transplacental maternal antibody appears to protect infant for first year of life. As far as the epidemiology is concerned, the endemic it is a prevalence all over the world. Immunization, as I mentioned, has reduced the incidence quite significantly. Epidemics in children occur between 5 to 15 years of age. There is no carrier for this infection. It's usually spread by direct contact. It is an airborne disease, and when we sneeze or cough, there are a lot of virus in the air, and so all the people in close contact can get infection. The virus is present in the saliva and the urine. Both are infective. So if we use the towels or the or any any food or anything which is infected, you can get the infection from a person living in the close community. But luckily, one attack produces lifelong immunity, and you will never get a second attack of mumps if you have a proper infection. Usually, mumps give you swollen glands, fever, headache, loss of appetite, pain, swelling. Protect yourself. This is usually uh, advised to the parents for, for vaccination against mumps in the form of a MMR vaccine. MMR vaccine, there are some contraindication and precaution. If you get a severe allergic reaction to vaccine or component of a vaccine or following a prior dose, you this is a contraindication. It is a live vaccine, so you don't give during pregnancy. Uh, and if somebody is on immunosuppressive therapy uh, for any reason, you usually not give them MMR vaccination, or if there is a moderate or severe acute illness of other etiology, then the MMR vaccination is not recommended. Usually, you give vaccination, especially the live vaccine, when the child is quite well and not having any other illness. MMR vaccine has been blamed that it can cause autism. There is no scientific evidence that the risk of autism is higher among children who receive measles or MMR vaccine than among unvaccinated children. The evidence favors a rejection of a causal relationship at the population level between MMR vaccine and the autism spectrum disorder. There are many studies which have indicated that MMR vaccine, apart from the allergic reaction, is otherwise a safe vaccine, and there is no link with child autism and MMR vaccine. MMR vaccine usually comes in combination with the measles and mumps and rubella vaccine. We used to have mumps separate vaccine, but now they stop producing separate vaccine. Separate administration of measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine to children proves provides no benefit other over administration of the combination as MMR vaccine and could result in delay in immunization. In Pakistan, we don't have a separate mumps vaccination, so it comes only in the form of MMR vaccination. We have measles vaccination as a single vaccination, but mumps and the rubella vaccinations are not come as an individual vaccination. They only come as a combination in the form of a MMR. Pediatricians need to work with the families to ensure that children are protected early in the second year of life from these preventable diseases. We give early in Pakistan because we see a lot of cases of measles and mumps in the first year of life. So for MMR vaccination, the indications are same as measles vaccination. So we give MMR vaccination at 9 months of age and the second dose as a booster at 15 months of age. Mumps vaccination. Mumps MMR recommended for person with asymptomatic, mildly symptomatic HIV infection because they get severe measles and mumps infection. So we usually give them if they are otherwise well in HIV positive patients. MMR vaccine is not recommended for those with the evidence of a severe immunosuppression. As I mentioned, HIV testing before vaccination is not recommended. Mumps. The control of mumps can be achieved through high routine coverage with an effective mumps-containing vaccine. As I mentioned, the first dose is at 9 months of age and the second at 15 months of age. Children immunized with most mumps vaccine at the age of 12 months and older have excellent serological response rate. You get 90% protection by having MMR vaccination, which is a lot, and after two injections of MMR, the immunity is above 90%. I hope this will cover most of the subject, and if there is any question, you can send me an email. My email address is rzia56 at the rate hotmail.com. If you have any question or any query, please write to me. I will try to answer everyone as soon as possible. Thank you very much.